2, 2, 2, 2. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good.
What do you think about the last home? Was it illegal?
Awesome. So what we do say there's two on this side, one here, one probably further back, and then the other on the other right.
Yeah. Actually, I'm waiting until I've got the questions back out, or at least I get the new sense that the person's wrapping up their answer, and I'm giving them, and then trying to get them on possibly straight away. And now I'm going to break this name to what's their target. It's best to handle up for that, so that they break it up together. So then I'll hold it. Shadows cast, so you kind of got to drop down, get your hand back to find someone.
Hiya, how are you? It's Peter. It's Peter. Hey, how are you? You alright? Good. Sorry to disturb you, sorry. I don't know, did you see that Australian match? Oh, no. There's a lad, James Miller, who got 19 years in the LB. So what happened was, he was giving out LB. He went to run a single and he ran out anyway, right? So he appealed the LB, and it turns out it was not out. James Anderson running to the skip and running. The feeling was it was a dead ball, that it should have been a dead ball, but he got out anyway, so he went to the press conference and ran to James because he got 98. it's Jeff Crow. Jeff Crow. Yeah. To be honest, that's why I was ringing you. I just wanted to make sure if it was appropriate for me to call him. That was okay if I call him. No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Yeah. No, I just wanted to be sure that I was okay to call him. That's all. Yeah. Yeah. Great. Good stuff. Lovely. Okay, listen, I'll give you a phone.
Money to be correct.
222 222 222 222. 222. Hello 22. Check 1 1 222. Hey, check 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 1 2 1 2 2 2 2. Hey 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 1 1 1 2. Check 1 2. Sound check 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 1 2 2 2 2 2 2. Hey 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 1 2 2. Check check check. Hey 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 1 2 2 1 2 2. Hey 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 1 2 2. Hey hey. Check 1 2 1 2.
Ladies and gents, just to say, in the next 5 minutes we'll be starting. Owen Morgan is on his way up, and then we'll have the Australian press conference straight after. Thank you. I'll see what's. I need to speak to him. I won't know at the end of this, but I'm going downstairs to work anyway. Thank you very much, ladies and gents. We've got England captain Owen Morgan and Rihanna Levi's, who's asking the first question. Thank you.
Owen, you and the other boys said that England were ready for this match, ready to start playing. The result would seem, and the margin of it would seem to indicate that perhaps you weren't quite as ready as you thought.
Yeah, perhaps, which is disappointing within itself. Probably the most frustrating thing is that we made errors that we haven't been making this trip. And again, Australia played well, but we had opportunities to take the game to them and we didn't take them.
I mean, they were superior, you'd agree, I think, in all departments today. Do you know why that is? Is it just because they are the better team?
Oh, I think certainly today they were the better team and they outplayed us every department right from the start, which is disappointing. We showed glimpses of what we can do, but again, frustrating things that we've been doing for this last month let us down.
Owen, what is the plan when you're bowling in those death overs, and do you think it's working?
There's probably about 3 or 4, and each batsman varies. I mean, it's certainly not easy bowling at the end. The main objective is to restrict them scoring and to take wickets. Taking wickets is the ultimate. If you do that, you tend to hold momentum. And again, I think our plans were reasonably good. The execution of it, I thought, was poor.
Hi, Owen. You made some changes to the lineup and who was doing different roles. Do you think that unsettled the team?
No, absolutely not. We're not a precious squad. We spoke before the tournament and said that we will have to adapt at certain stages. And we changed the balance of the side, but we played our best 11 for that balance.
But you changed that. I mean, familiarisation of roles is quite important. People went from coming in at number 3, who hadn't batted there for a long time, number 6, who never batted there before. You've got a new opening bowler, Wokes, in a different position.
No, I mean, James Taylor batted probably closer to his natural position in a batting lineup than he's ever done. Batting 3 was a bit strange for him, although he did it well. But batting 5 or 6 is probably his best position. And Gary has had a fantastic, what are we in January? Maybe 12 months of Test match cricket, maybe a little bit less. Batting at 3, and has looked a magnificent touch since he's been here.
Your own form, you said you weren't too concerned about it heading into this match. Are you more concerned about it now, or how do you feel?
After that dismissal, I don't think so. No, I toe end a pull. It probably held up a little bit in the pitch. It's not ideal getting out and getting naught, but no.
Owen, can you run us through what you understand happened at the end there with the run out? It seemed like the umpires got it wrong.
We're still waiting on clarity. We're going to speak to match referee and stuff. I've come straight from shaking hands. So again, my understanding of the rule, I can't say it because again, it can't be. I'm not sure if it's right. Is the best way to say it. So we're waiting on clarity.
Jeff Boycott's been critical of you and the team recently. I imagine that's fairly unhelpful at this time.
Jeffrey tends to be critical 24/7. And I actually don't know if people, well, certainly people within the team, it falls on deaf ears.
I mean, when you go through an experience like that, obviously you talked about being outplayed. I mean, it wasn't a be-all and end-all game, but to come back or regroup, I mean, you're still quite new to the job. How do you sum up that challenge for you?
It's not a big challenge. We said that our first 2 games of the tournament would be the toughest in our group, and to come out of them with results would give us huge confidence. And we're still at that stage. We're still getting to the quarterfinals, and again building as we get the further we get into the tournament. As regards to Friday, we'll regroup, assess what we've done wrong and can improve on before then. But certainly first protocol is to turn to senior players and ask them to lead from the front.
In 5 days, you cross the seas and play against another host, New Zealand. So, any change in strategy, you think, or?
I'm hoping there'll be a higher level of skill produced. I think our strategies are pretty solid and pretty basic, as are everybody's. There's no magic formula. It's a matter of going out and executing those plans.
I mean, just a little bit more on senior players. Is that a particular frustration that, you know, you've had a little bit of upheaval coming into this tournament, and I guess you want your senior players to stand up and take ownership and leadership of that team?
I don't think it's been upheaval. I think every game you want your senior players to lead from the front, especially when you play against a side who've been on a bit of a run. So again, Friday will be no different.
And just how difficult will it be to lift the team after, you know, another defeat?
No, again, it's the guys are quite optimistic about things in the group stage. As I said earlier, our first 2 games are the toughest in the group. So again, we'll have to be reasonably close to our best or producing our best as individuals to beat these sides.
I mean, when you have a bad run like you're going through at the moment, do you have to try and convince yourself that you're not out of form? You know, do you have to sort of mentally think, I'm okay here, or?
I think, well, I'm quite honest with things normally, and if I was, I'm a nick-off candidate massively, and if I was nicking every ball that I got, I'd be worried, but I'm not. I'm getting out in different ways, and again, moving forward, spend as much time in the middle as possible.
So does that give you the confidence that you can come through these things? Obviously, your form is so vital if England are going to have a good World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. It does give me confidence. As I said, I'd be if the last 4 dismissals had been nick-offs or forming some sort of pattern.
Owen, you talk about execution. Just how much of a sort of I guess a problem your fielding was today. You know, drop catches and just, you know, chances going begging. I guess and especially compared to how the Australians fielded.
Yeah, I mean, at the risk of repeating myself, the first question, I'll relate back to that. Things we've been doing well for this last month let us down today. And again, we got 2 chances really early, which was frustrating more than anything else.
Just on a bit more on James's innings. I mean, he showed some real fight there. I mean, he's had a good month here in Australia. I mean, what did you actually think of his knock today in the circumstances that he found himself in too?
Yeah, it was outstanding. I mean, it's typical James Taylor. Got himself in, scored in different areas, and managed to take advantage of being in. And again, these are qualities we're looking for. Guys who can not only get 60 or 40, guys who can go on and potentially win a game for us.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to continue with Aaron Finch now. Kate will direct affairs. Okay, quick turnaround, please, and we'll continue. Thank you.
I'll send out our media activity for the week leading into the next match tonight. I'll take you back to the hotel, but for those who are interested in your Brisbane staff, we will have an off arrival at Brisbane Airport tomorrow at 1:15. Not all of our squad will be on that flight, so we're going home for a couple of days, but there will be players on that flight and a trail will be made available at the airport. Right, we ready to rock and roll? Cameron ready? Yep. Who would like the first question? Mr. Ben Moore? Anyways, that's something.
Aaron, yeah, what was the feeling of, you know, that 100 today in front of your home crowd and first match of a World Cup?
Yeah, it was very nice. I mean, like you said, to get 100 in front of my family and friends and at the home ground, the home of cricket, was pretty special and something that'll stay with me for a long time, I'm sure.
Aside from the drop catch early on, was that the best you've you've played, do you think?
Yeah, it's up there. I think I played pretty well after that initial chance. I mean, I felt like I got off to a really good start and kept the run rate going. I think there was a part of the innings there where they bowled really well and tied myself and George down, but to get through that was really pleasing.
Aaron, I mean, you went into this as favourites. Do you think you've made a statement straight away about your World Cup ambitions to the other nations?
I don't think we've made any secret about it. We're here to win the World Cup like 13 other teams are. And I suppose what was great was everyone contributed with either with bat, ball or in the field. So from a team point of view, it's really good to see everyone playing well and peaking at the right time. I mean, they've played a lot of cricket over the last 2 or 3 months, and for everyone to be in good nick at the moment and playing well is a real confidence booster for the side.
A best mate of yours was also pretty handy today, Glenn Maxwell. Given what he went through a couple of months ago, in his own words, he was in a dark place. To see him do what he did today, how happy are you for your mate?
Oh, very happy. I think everybody's seen the capabilities Glenn's got when he's confident and when he's playing well. And I mean, to come off 95 like he did in Perth, I thought he played absolutely beautifully. And then get his first 100 for Australia. Unfortunately, it wasn't an ODI against India. I think that's just flowed on, and he's playing some really good cricket. He's playing smart cricket, which can't always be said for his game at times. I mean, I think that he would say that. There's times when he makes some poor choices, but over the last little while, he's made some great choices. He's given himself a chance to get into an innings, even though he's only coming in with a handful of overs to go. The damage that he can do is unbelievable, and when you've got a guy who can field as well as he can and handy with the ball, it's a pretty special package to have.
And George Bailey, do you feel for him? Because before this match he said, I'm out, Clark's in pretty much, and then he comes out and gets a 55 at a very important time. Do you think that you can drop a man like him?
That's not my decision. It's up to the selectors to pick the next 11, but George played beautifully. I mean, coming in at 3 for 70 on the back of 3 pretty quick wickets, it wasn't easy, and they had their tail up, and for him to battle through a period pretty early where they bowled excellent at him, that was a credit to him, and showed what a class player he actually is, which I don't think he gets a lot of credit for at times.
Aaron, Mitch Marsh's 5 for 33, it reminded us of Gary Gilmore's 6 for 14 in the inaugural World Cup, 1975, kind of. Was it part of...
I wasn't alive then.
I know. History. Was it part of any well-planned strategy, or was it just a welcome surprise, his performance, basically?
I think Mitch is someone who's very consistent, and I think on that wicket that suited medium pace bowling. It was a wicket that was starting to slow up a little bit through the middle, and he just bowled good balls, hit good areas, and got rewarded. I mean, there was some beautiful catching there as well, and that makes it all the more pleasing that he did bowl well, but he got backed up in the field.
Yeah, just on George Bailey again, as you said, played beautifully, presided over a big win, but the way the squad's been picked is a good chance to get dropped. Does that make it awkward for the rest of you guys in the squad to know how to respond to that? It's a strange situation to be in, really, for a captain.
Yeah, well, like I said before, that's not my decision to make, but cricket's a professional sport, and we're all professionals. We know that 15 don't go into 11, and it's the nature of the game that someone can be in great form and miss out. So whoever it is, whether it's George, whether it's anyone, like you can pull a few names out of a hat, and I'm sure that you could justify it some way. So that's just a part of the job.
Aaron, do you think it says a lot for the hitting potential of your team that you and George can spend probably the better part of 10 overs consolidating and the team still post 340?
Yeah, I think that's when you look down at our team, that's a really, I suppose, strength of ours is that we've got guys who can play all different types of roles. You've got Davey at the top who can be a manipulator of the ball or brute force. You can use that. So then you've got guys through the middle, Bailey, Maxwell, Mitch Marsh, Haddon. They can all play so many different roles, and that's such a pleasing thing in the side, is that under any circumstances you've got confidence in every guy that they can play in every scenario, and to have that is pretty unique in a team, I think, and I think that's what makes us a quality team at the moment.
Obviously, you dropped one, but,
Yes.
but the fielding was just sensational today. The catching was just spectacular. Can you just talk about the fielding aspect of Australia and how much confidence, I mean, obviously you've got great batsmen and bowler, but that aspect of cricket and how much confidence it gives to the team going into any match?
Yeah, it does, because if you're bowling well and you're getting supported in the field, you're saving so many runs and you're putting a lot of pressure on. But I think when you see our guys train, when everyone trains so hard on their fielding, if you've got a chance, make sure you get to a training session where you can watch Maxwell, Warner and Steve Smith all training. That's a big competition with each other, and something that is pretty special to see. And you can see why these guys can repeatedly do it in a game, because they train so hard. But I think the big thing for us is that we're not worried about making mistakes. We're not worried about dropping a catch or misfielding. That's the nature of the game. That happens, unfortunately. But I think when you have an attitude like that and you're not worried about the consequence, you put your body on the line and you end up pulling off more spectacular things like that.
Aaron over here. Did you have a good view of Stephen Smith's catch?
I did. I was tucked away at fine leg.
What did you think of it?
That was a phenomenal catch. Joss hit that really hard. He was right out of the screws, and the balance, timing of everything was unbelievable.
And just conversely for England, obviously they put down a couple of billion. How important do you think that was for the...
Oh, no one means to drop a catch, and I suppose that dropped one out there, and it just happens that we were well in front of the game at the time, which, I mean, guys train so hard. I'm sure every team who's here in this tournament, every domestic team, club team, trains so hard on their fielding that no one means to drop a catch or misfield. That's just a part of the game, and fortunately it went my way today, and Davey got a chance early, but other days it doesn't. When things are going your way, you see what happens with what happened in our fielding. Steve takes a hanger, and guys seem to be unlucky. But I think that's we took the game on and played well. I think them things fall your way when you're leading the game forward.
There was obviously a bit of confusion around that last dismissal of the match. What was the understanding of the Australians?
No idea. we had no idea what was going on. We appealed for an LB. We appealed for a run out. We would have taken anything at the time. But honestly, I still don't know the rule, to be honest. Maybe it was a dead ball, but I haven't seen a rule. Can anyone enlighten me? Dead ball. Okay.
In your whole cricket career, can you ever remember walking out onto the field with so much confidence? The team's been in form for a long time. Individually, everyone's in form. There's just so many match winners.
No, it's a nice spot to be in when you've got confidence in the whole 15 that we've got. I mean, we have played some really good cricket, and that's why we are able to be confident in our ability. And I think when you have a look at everyone's records, everyone's contributed really well over the last however long the tri series was and our warm-up game. So about 3 or 4 weeks, everyone's contributed really well at some point. So the belief in each other is a huge thing, and you know what it's like in sport when you know you've got the backing of your teammates. It makes you relax a little bit. And in a game when everyone was on edge at the start, I mean, there was a lot of nerves in our rooms. It was pretty quiet compared to what it normally is. It was. It's nice to get that out of the way and really get into the tournament now.
Aaron, it was a great holistic team performance pretty much by everyone, and because the competition for spots is so fierce at the moment, Shane Watson must have been incredibly disappointed getting that Jaffa from Stuart Broad. Have you spoken to him, or what his reaction was like?
When he walked out, I actually told him he'd been bowling cross seam and he hadn't swung any. Then he bowls a beauty and he nicks one, but Shane's a world-class player. He can win a game with the bat or with the ball, so I'd definitely want him in my side. But like I've said twice already, I'm not a selector.
Last one, Tim.
Aaron, England at least showed some fight at the end there. I mean, I don't know how much you know about James Taylor, but what did you think of his knock?
Yeah, I've actually played against James quite a lot through Lions tours and bit in county cricket and stuff like that. I've seen him do that quite a bit. He did it to Yorkshire a couple of times last year in T20, and he's someone who's got so many different shots, so many different skills. So he's someone who's a very versatile player. He bats at the top. He can bat number 6 and finish in innings like that. So he's someone who played very, very well under the circumstances.